Good morning, traders. It is 8:02 a.m. Chicago time on the 16th of February 2021. Welcome to Tuesday after President's Day. Um, I want to remind you that derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This is episode number 1938. This morning, let's hop right into the summary sheet, the pre-market summary sheet from Convergent Trading. This morning, the Russell leading the pack. Russell flirting with 2,300, up 13.1 points or 0.57%. The Dow Jones is up 103 points or 0.33. The Nasdaq up also 0.275%. The S&P up 0.25%. The cable, interestingly, is stronger, trading at 138.75. Cable's come a long way. The dollar basket is also up a penny and a half today. The laggard today is gold. Gold has fallen below the 1800 level, trading at 1793.70, currently down 1.62%. Allocation is to risk this morning. Excuse me. Allocation is to risk this morning. And it looks like it's coming out. Excuse me. Looks like it's coming out of the 30-year bond and the 10-year note, as well as the Bund and metals. The overall market posture is for risk on this morning. The key news is that President Biden, will be in Wisconsin to talk about his $1.9 trillion stimulus bill, pushing that through, looking for, and the market's already anticipating this. Also, we have continued distribution and news on the vaccines, this new strain of COVID-19, and so on and so forth. And I'm sure you heard Bitcoin is within a hair away of $50,000 per coin. $50,000 is about $60 short. So that's where we stand. Overall, optimistic market this morning. The S&P, because we had a holiday where the New York Stock Exchange was closed yesterday, we wipe away the 9:30 to 1 o'clock Eastern session and combine the Sunday night and Monday night sessions to make them into our overnight session. As a result, we have 262,000 contracts traded, and the high of the overnight session is 39.59 and a quarter. The low is 39.34.75. So it looks like a fairly relatively wide range, but really it's two sessions combined. You'll see that on my chart in a minute. The overnight profile is completely balanced. Point of control at 39.47 and a quarter. So that's where we are today. You can go and look at a calendar and see what's coming. I'm going to go right past that and move into our review segment. So on Friday, I talked a lot about the fact that we spent every day last week closing at or around 39.09. Every test below 3900 was bought back up, and in the open that was above into the 39 to 24, which was the all-time high back then, was sold all the way through to 3900. Basically, that was Friday's range. Friday's range made up last week's range entirely, and we still ended up at 39.09. And what I was saying on Friday is buy the dip here because it is very, very likely to drive towards a 39.17, and it's very, very likely to go to go through and push the 39.2850. The 39.2850 is seen here is the all-time high. That's a terrible marker there. Seen here is the all-time high I expected this to be pushed at some point. I was conservative during the session, drawing my green scenario 1 here, but overall, any dip, looking to buy any dip and looking for a push towards the high. Here's what actually happened on Friday. This is a 4-tick Renko. Let's reduce the range. This is a 4-tick Renko chart. We opened up and at 3901.75, we pushed down towards the 3900, and we only got 3901. Put in an opening swing high 3907 quarter, and then from there it was sideways, sideways, sideways until we got the impulse. This is the impulse I had marked here. This is the impulse I was marking here. Oops, let's not get this going. That arrow, I'm looking for that impulse to basically engage, and that occurred right in here. So the next play is to expect a pullback towards 39.11, consolidate, and then expecting it to continue higher. Took forever on Friday. Going into a holiday weekend, a long weekend, it was just very, very slow. The impulse did get its continuation. We put in a weak double top here. That's a weak high that you're looking at in the circle. 2 highs at the same price. That makes it a weak high. And the reason it's a weak high is because if it's a strong or excess high, the market would see that as too expensive and would immediately sell off. And it didn't do that. So we expect that 39.1975 to be taken out. So the question remaining to me as a trader is, where do I get in? One, I know I'm going to get long, so that's already discovered. Remember, there are 4 things we need to get right on every trade. I'm not going to talk about time because that's a given in the 4. You got to get direction. You've got to get your stop size. You've got to get your target. You've got to get your target right, and then you've got to get your direction, stop size, target, and entry. Entry, direction first. Entry, risk, direction, risk, entry, target. All 4 have to be right in order for us to win. And so direction is already established. The risk is something that is dependent on where we engage. Looking to engage at 39.11 on Friday, right in here, 39.11 at the IB high. And over time, what we ended up getting is just a mess of full session RTH VWAP, full session mid, and RTH mid, all in this area. So this is a mucky area, but decent risk control. And then you just had to sit through a bunch of mud here before it ran up into the close. So that's how things shaped up. On Friday, we had pretty good delta going into the close. Really strong rotation on the close. New all-time highs. Okay, so its destiny has been fulfilled there. Since then, these are 2 sessions here. This is Sunday night session and Monday night session. These are all considered the same session by the exchange. So from 5 p.m. Central, the exchange is right here, so I'm just going to use Central Time to keep it simple. From 5 p.m. Central all the way through 4 p.m. Central today, that's considered one session, one margin. And so what I'm doing here is combining the 2 profiles to make my own overnight profile. And you can see the overall shape is balanced. The point of control is 39.47 and a quarter. And you can see currently we are below the overnight point of control. We are below VWAP and mid. And so we stand here basically neutral in delta when you combine the 2 sessions, and neutral overall in price at new all-time highs. We're opening in a gap. We are above Friday's high, which was 39.35, And so so gap rules apply. We need to be aware of what the market does early on. So this is one of those days where you keep your hands off to see if it's responsive on the open, or if traders come in, push down a little bit, and then just drive towards the highs yet again. So we have to, again, gap rules apply, and we have to wait to see how the market treats this morning's gap. So here's last week. Look at that thing. Last week is until Friday. Last week, I said Thursday, but it's Wednesday. The entire week is governed by Wednesday's range, pretty much until we took out the high. But very, very compressed week. If you compare it to the prior weeks, each box represents a week here. If you compare it to the prior week, very compressed range and a very, very high kurtosis or compressed volume profile. You see there's a fair amount of volume here. We traded an average of just under 5 million, so an average of just under a million. So we've traded 4.74 million in a day session. So we've traded about 920,000 contracts per day, which is pretty decent. And then we ran up on the close, but we still had a very tight week. And look at the point of control, the MC point of control for the week. It's at 39.09. Look at these closes. 39.09 close, 39.09 close, 39.09 close, 39.09 close. And then this day here closed at 39.34.50 or 75. 50, 34.50. So the whole week was really resting on that 39.09. It was the nirvana of all numbers, of equilibrium, of balance for the week until we ran off. So the question is, since we are on the edge of last week's range, but we're gapping up, the question is, do we respond back into the range? And if we respond back into the range, what do you expect? Where do you expect it to go as it pushes back? You probably would expect it to go back to, those who've been around a while, the expectation is it retests at 39.09 MC point of control. The MC point of control is very important, right? So this, you can see it there, it's 39.09 under POC. So that's really important to keep in mind. Don't forget that, and that's where that stands. We did get a nice little blip here, a blip up in the delta on the buying spree on Friday. But other than that, it really, it's just a grind up, and it's a low volatility grind. I know some people are saying, hey, this is high volatility, but the VIX is falling below 20, and it really is a grinder. So what are we looking for? We went over the overnight session. What are we looking for today here? Let's set up this chart. And of course, I'm going to invite you to check out edgeclear.com, the online brokerage that I created and launched in April of 2020 with an award-winning team. Here's what we're looking for today. So we got our stock zones up. We've already attacked this measured move level at the 43.75. We've already pushed through it. That's where this stock zone comes from. When there are no levels to the left, when there's no trading to the left, when I don't have an auction preceding these prices to the left of the chart in the past, what I do is project prices. So these are fib extensions. I'm looking for swings and looking for basically harmonic swings, and looking to project where the next stumbling area may be based on the last few swings or a corresponding swing to the area. The more swings that overlap each other, it doesn't matter if it's a 100% extension or whatever, 138, 150, whatever, 162. It doesn't matter what it is. But if I can get multiple measured moves on top of each other, then that becomes a key target for me. It's more likely that there are more eyes in that on that area than otherwise having empty space. So the all-time high in RTH is still below us at 39.35. That was Friday's high. And this morning we had driven up to 39.59 and a quarter, and we are responsive so far. So what are we looking for this morning? We're looking to open. We're looking for the overnight inventory is only 17.7% or 20% long. That seems wrong to me on the sheet, actually. I probably should have pointed that out because pretty much all of the volumes above Friday's close, it's 100% long. So I'm looking for a response to the downside. So as we open here, looking for it to push up, looking for a response back to 39.35, consolidation down into the prior range, and I'm looking for it to fall right through. Looking for responsive selling, the target being this 39.18 area, this zone right here. All right, so I'm looking for a push down into the 39.18, 39.20 before the bounce. So impulse down, that'll be scenario one, looking for responsive selling into today's open. Secondary is a more traditional response early, 100% overnight inventory, response early, consolidate, potentially touch Friday's high, consolidate here, and then finally push through to 47 and a quarter. Consolidate some more in the full session VWAP mid, and then start to squeeze towards this 39.57 target. So we expect to take out the overnight low and push to 57 where that morning consolidation took place up here. That's the secondary. I'm more confident in the short this morning, however, but the market will show its hand as we open. We want to see what quality, pay very close attention to what the market is doing as we open. It's going to show us very, very quickly what its intent is. So if we see sellers hitting the bid and the bid holding, refilling, refreshing, icebergs, things like that, then we need to back off of the selling. If we see it hitting and it's moving through, then we're looking for a push higher against the reference area to sell back into 35 and then potentially into 39.20, 35.26, and then 39.20 being the key target. That's where I expect initial support, secondary support, or the more premium supports at 39.09. Okay, that brings us back into last week's range and back to the most important price of last week of 39.09. Cool? Does that make sense? Good luck today, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Take care.